Enjoy the bonus content, and thank you so much for listening.
All during Worlds this year, I was definitely a nervous wreck, waking up with like a weak stomach and being like, oh my gosh, this is not how I felt during practice. Your brain can't focus on more than one or two things at a time. If you're focusing on those positive things, the negative thoughts, they sort of dissipate or dissolve.
Welcome to Basket Case, the podcast where disc golfers tell you the stories of when their mental game had the power to make or break their rounds. Let's gain some experience, work on our brains, and hit some chains. This episode features Lisa Fajkus on practice performance anxiety and what she's learned from over 17 years of tournament experience. Hear how she literally and figuratively gets herself out of pitfalls and keeps her positivity and love for the game alive.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
How's Boots doing?
Sleeping.
Oh.
Let me see. She's sleeping, literally sleeping right here.
How was your practice round today?
I personally decided to take it easy. Only played 6 holes with a group of friends. Some of the girls, they played the whole course, but yeah, played just a quick little warm-up loop. I know the course really well, but it's just kind of cool to see how the competitors throw it and like the dangers that can happen.
Get you scared on some of the tee pads.
The good and the bad.
Yeah.
Because you definitely want to know that can happen. Some holes can really creep up on you.
Yeah, you have to know what the high percentage shot is.
Yeah, different players really attack it differently. There's all kinds of different philosophies. It's that fine line between getting that rest and getting prepared. And you don't want to overdo it, but you don't want to underdo it. So doing the medium. Yeah, because some players want to play as many rounds as they can. Mm-hmm. And the other players want to make sure to only play 1 round a day or less.
So I kind of wanted to hear from you maybe some of your struggles with your mental game in either now or in the past.
Yeah, thanks for having me. There's a lot of things that get to me mentally. Some of them are things that happen before the round even starts. And then other things are maybe adversity on the course. But for me, some things that I'm kind of like working through mentally, nerves, just being nervous. I notice I get nervous for the big events, and not that they're not all big, but I'm talking about like the ones that are like majors, have the big title with them. So dealing with a little bit of nerves here and there, I noticed that's something that I still deal with even after all these years. I kind of noticed this year, at least, waking up with like a weak stomach and being like, oh my gosh, this is not how I felt during practice, and just kind of working through that really. I know all during Worlds this year, I was definitely a nervous wreck, knowing that you have the potential to do good, but then also that comes with a little bit of extra pressure. Yeah. So I think it comes down to sometimes getting like performance anxiety, feeling those jitters a little bit, knowing that I have the capability to do this and it's my time to stand up and make it happen. Like I said, something I still deal with, and it's like how you can overcome that. And I really feel like the more you practice and the more you play, the nerves should go down, because like just feeling nervous in general is like a sign that what you're doing is like maybe too hard or just really challenging.
Yeah,
something
or
like
unpredictable. And so,
yeah, totally.
Was there ever a tournament where the nerves really got to you?
Oh yeah, completely. The majors really this year that I can remember, just like feeling, like I said, weak in the stomach, the general stuff. So like you want to be careful with your words. If you say I'm nervous, it's like you're channeling those feelings. So instead of saying I'm nervous, you actually want to replace that with I'm confident, I'm brave, and I'm strong. When I'm focusing more on those words, can bring more comfort and security and relaxation to me, instead of kind of focusing on more of a negative, you can say, energy. Like, yeah, just kind of focus on positive side. Like, I'm so brave because I'm putting myself out there in these situations to perform, and I'm feeling really confident because I practiced really hard, not just this week,
Yeah.
but weeks and weeks previous. Your brain can't focus, I feel like, on more than one or two things at a time. So it's like if you're focusing on
Right.
those positive things, the negative thoughts, they sort of dissipate or dissolve. Yeah, try to actually rechannel my energy into that positive frame, almost like I said, like tricking your mind and shifting your thoughts over into the positive.
Yeah.
And that's something that's helped me when I get really nervous. Yeah, you definitely want to
Yeah.
be careful with how we talk to ourselves.
So when you started as a teenager, who got you into it? How did you like kind of start dipping your toe in the water of disc golf?
Yeah, I was 19, just freshly out of high school. It was the guy I was dating at the time and one of his friends. He's a bass player in a band, so like a cool guy. He was into all kinds of cool stuff. He just had like a pile of discs sitting in his room, and I was really drawn to them. When I saw them, I was like, these
As
colorful
we
round
all do.
discs, it was like literally like 5 or 6 discs, and I remember being like what are these? We ended up going and playing like the next day or two. I loved the sport right away. I was got the bug, basically started playing every day. From the beginning it was like, oh, let's go play a different course, let's go play a new course. Yeah, that was kind of the fun thing to do. And then we eventually discovered like, oh, there's like tournaments and stuff like that, so like kind of dabbled into that scene later on. Just kept going.
Ah, that's crazy. I know the amount of women that start playing disc golf because of their spouse or boyfriend. I'm sure it's like most
That was the
women.
thing back then. Yeah, that was kind of like you're in. Because honestly,
Hmm.
even now, but back then it was 95% guys.
So you've been in the game a long time, 17 years. Um,
Yeah.
So do you think being in the game that long has helped you like grow in that way? Like, do you think you've gotten better over the years?
100% with any kind of growth. I have a lot of experience in this sport. That is like really the difference between me and a beginner. I've read the name of the book, but I think it's Outliers, and it takes 10,000 hours to be an outlier in anything, or to be like
Ah, Malcolm
considered like a
Gladwell.
master. Yeah, so I have reached my 10,000 hours for sure in many facets of disc golf. And it does include mental IQ, mental awareness, and tricks that you learn along the way in association with the physical side. So it's like having both of those under your belt definitely for me is like a difference maker in certain ways. But I definitely see these young guns coming up and they're like so talented and they have all the physical gifts and like younger players, they've only been playing maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but you can see the potential is there all day, and they're just going to grow into such an amazing player in the next years and years, like so many players.
Yeah, that's interesting about your 10,000 hours. I once sat down and did the math. I've only been playing for like 2.5 years, and
Hmm.
I tried to calculate, how close am I to that 10,000 hours? And
Sure.
it was like woefully low. I was like, yeah, maybe I'm like halfway there. I was like, nope. If I cheated and like gave myself all the benefits of the doubt, I was almost a fourth of the way there.
We call you a newbie.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, we were all there once, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's so exciting to be where you are now, and also where I am now, because we're always like learning more and so willing to be a sponge and take in what we can to improve our game. It's just always so fun to see our growth.
what advice would you give to somebody who's struggling with their mental game, maybe feeling those nerves?
What's worked for me personally is like listening to music sometimes when I'm playing. And if I'm having some kind of like mental battle or some kind of external thing, I find that like putting on like one earbud and having like some positive music just flowing kind of helps me stay in a positive mind frame, like at least during a tournament. Listening to music I think is a cool thing, but beyond that, just like being able to be okay with whatever happens out there, no matter the outcome. So basically you don't want to let the way you throw the disc kind of like affect your overall mood. So say you're having like a bad luck on the course, you hit the first tree in front of you, or you go out of bounds, or you throw your disc in the water, you might chain out of the putt. It's just like being able to say like, that's okay, it's all right, and just having like that kind of easygoing mindset is like so key.
Yeah.
It's like really the top of the pyramid when you think about like what you want to strive to. So if you can find that happiness and like that like goodness inside of you, it'd be hard for you to be touched. Just having that strong mental mindset that you've already made up your mind. Like I said, like I'm gonna have a happy, good day no matter what, and now you're just gonna go live it out. You're like, I'm out here just kind of remembering like, hey, I'm playing disc golf. We're here, we're in this beautiful land, we're playing with friends. Yes, struggles will come and go, but instead of even labeling them as struggles, what I like to do is celebrate my challenges, because I actually learn just as much or maybe even more from the shots that challenge me than I do from the shots that I throw good at. So it's like if I throw a bad shot and be like, oh gosh, instead of like getting mad about that, if that's something you're struggling with, or maybe sad or embarrassed or anything like that, I'm very analytical, and I go inward and I say, hey, what did I do there? Oh, I released it early, or I did X, Y, or Z. And I say, okay, well, next time I need to do this, and just kind of always being cool with what happened, and also tweaking, trying to do it better next time. And I feel like that's really a winner's mentality, having like that kind of, like I said, strong will. Sometimes you have to have just willpower to get you through a tough day. And that goes for anything on or off the course. And if you have that strong willpower, I feel like you can do so much in life, even if life kicks you down. Because if you lose that light, if you lose that happiness, that's when you really lose. I've been there. I know so many players have been there. And that experience, again, is a beautiful thing, because once we've experienced that, I can't just simply preach it to you if you haven't experienced these lows or highs. Yeah, and that way we can celebrate our mistakes and actually look at them as something to just learn. Yes, learn so much from them. Learn so much that it's not a mistake, it's something to be like thankful for.
That's such a good perspective, and very much easier said than done, for sure. It's what you gain from that like tournament experience. We played with each other at Masters Cup in Santa Cruz this year.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what hole it was. It was round 2. It's the one that like goes down. There's like a huge ravine on the right-hand side.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That was a big shot for me.
Oh my gosh, that shot freaking blew my mind. My thing has been trying to learn the belief portion of it, because I'm so new, and because, I'm mostly just a mom. It's not my day job. I don't do it for a living. I'm not sponsored or anything. And so it's kind of like I'll do something good and then be like, yes, you deserve to be here. And then I might do something bad and be like, do you deserve to, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
But when you threw that shot, it like went way down to the right. And I was like, oh, no, I'm so glad that it wasn't me.
Probably a couple 100 feet to the right, and like in a ravine, like you said, pretty down there.
Like probably at least 70 trees in your way.
Yeah.
And like that is like the epitome of this mental state that you're talking about, because you just lined up. Like, you could tell you were discouraged going down there, but then
very
I don't know, something shifted though once you got down in the pit. You were like, I'm not staying in this pit.
There's something about, like I said, you have to will it in. You make up your mind, and it's almost like things move out of your way. If you make like a miraculous shot like that, like I don't know how that shot like even happened, but I was just determined basically.
I love what you said about how they don't get in your way. They are actually moving out of your way. That was the only way that shot could have gotten up there.
Isn't that great?
know,
How
I-
the mind is so
Oh,
powerful.
it was
Yeah.
so good.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great example of basically not giving up, just being like, you know what, anything can happen, and putting yourself out there to let anything happen. Just to touch on what you said earlier, like just we've all been there, like kind of questioning ourselves in a way where it's just like, should I even be here? Am I too old to be doing this? Am I past my prime? And you know what I mean? Just those different things that creep into your mind. I don't know if that's like the ego, just kind of like questioning our integrity, maybe questioning ourselves to test ourselves on how much we desire or want it or not. The bottom line is that we absolutely do deserve to be there, and we totally can do it. One of my favorite quotes is like, you get out what you put in, however like much you want to put into practice. For example, like, do you want to practice for 2 hours every day, or do you want to practice for 10 minutes every day, or do you want to practice for 3 hours every day? So there's a big difference there. If your competitors are practicing for 3 hours every day, they're going to get out a lot more than the comparison practicing for 10 minutes a day. So they're going to get out a lot more because they're putting in a lot more. So it's really up to you how much you want to get out of it from how much you want to put into it. I see that now more than ever. And maybe that's just from playing more and then seeing like my competition rise in certain ways to want to strive to be my personal best, and feeling like I'm not there yet. And I feel like my best is like around the corner, and I'm like so excited to get there. Have fun, love what you do, enjoy the experience, and grow your game.
I love what you said about how your best is right around the corner. I just feel like that's kind of what makes disc golf so addictive. I'll reach a new high and then be like, oh, but I could also have birdied this one. And then I'll be even better.
Like, that brings a lot of like joy and excitement, just like the thrill of like seeing how much we can push ourselves. I don't see myself stopping.
Well, good. Please don't stop. I can't wait to see you get to that peak level that we haven't even seen before. And you're already an amazing player, so that's going to be something special. Well, Lisa, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
I love hearing you say that, and thank you so much for doing this podcast, and obviously having me on. Of course, thank you again, and I'm so glad that you love disc golf so much that you wanted to talk about it and start a podcast. That makes me happy.
Huge shout out to Lisa for coming on the show to talk with us. If you want to connect with her, she's on Instagram and Facebook at Lisa Fajkus, and be sure to check out her tour series Color Glow Roadrunner. We will have a link to it in the show notes. Also in the show notes, we have a link to our website. On our website, you can find some great resources that connect with the episode, such as our reading list. We have a book affiliates account, so if you're interested in reading Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, following the link from our website helps support the show. We also have a rad Spotify playlist with music picks from our 2022 off-season pros, including Lisa. Head over to Spotify and see if you can spot which songs came from which pros. I am not a mental health professional or a sports psychologist. Opinions expressed by guests on the show are their own and don't necessarily represent my views. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, no guts, no glory, no brains, no chains. Goodbye.